In my last video, Gaia was the only one to ever be placed in a D1 menace rank, and for this video, we have a new upcoming maniac known as Dojo, who is literally a crossdresser, a demon, and an angel all at the same time. Somewhere in Britain, a menace was being sentenced to death via electric chair. The guard was like, "Did you really say that we couldn't do shit to you? Look at your situation. You about to die, you criminal." But Dojo didn't say nothing back and gave him a smirk. But they didn't like bro's cockiness, so they pressed the button and electrocuted him. After Dojo went completely limp, the guard came over to talk shit, but this menace broke out of the chair, appeared behind the two guards who were holding machine guns and asked, "What's the matter, guys?" before smashing their heads together and instantly claiming two victims in mere seconds. The other guard completely shits himself and Dojo's like, "Throw the pistol, I dare thee." The guard is like, "I'm not no bitch," and tries drawing his weapon but gets punched square in the face, which sends him flying. Dojo, after walking out of his execution room like the Terminator, shows up at the airport like, "Take me to Tokyo, lil bro." While world champion fighter was jogging and minding his own business, a newspaper gets thrown at him, cutting his cheek, in which he discovers that it's a diaper-wearing man wearing all black approaching him. He's like, I don't want any trouble, bro." But Dojo doesn't care and continues to approach bro, and makes him sweat his balls off. So he tries to scare off Dojo, but his hands get cut off when he grabs Dojo's collar, realizing too late that Dojo was hiding razor blades in his shirt. Before dude could even process what was happening, Dojo slices his neck using only his elbows, and instantly gets his fourth victim. Dojo is definitely on his way to becoming a D1 menace, in which there will be a lot of powerful characters in the series who are about to test this gangster, like Baki for example, who is being lectured in class. As the teacher is saying, "It's not humanly impossible for someone to jump from the ground floor through the window as we're 4 stories up." And just as he says that, Dojo jumps into the building and shows up like a menace. He approaches Baki like, "I heard your ass was strong. Didn't expect you to be sitting in this boring ass classroom," before bitch slapping the teacher when he tries to stop him. But suddenly, Baki's like, "Shit on me timbers," before launching the entire desk into Dojo's face. Dojo is sent flying but lands like a G before grabbing a weapon and saying, "You might be a minor, but you really got hands." Baki looks at Dojo with disappointment though as he holds the weapon. Baki becomes so disappointed that he jumps out of the window like, "Fuck this shit, I don't want to live on this planet anymore," before completely disappearing. Dojo now has to find a new opponent after Baki ran off like a little rat, so we cut to this big ass officer who looks like Ronnie Coleman in his prime. As he's doing paperwork, a buff 6'4" woman enters the room, who is definitely not a man, and hands him some coffee. The police woman notices Dojo on the screen and is like, "He looks scary."
He's scary, all right.
They say he's hiding somewhere in Tokyo.
Yeah, I bet he's even closer than you might think.
Maybe even right behind you?
The policewoman's voice suddenly turns deep as fuck and turns out that it's actually Dojo who was cross-dressing the whole time. Like bro was looking hella bad. The buff guy tries to steal some coffee at Dojo, but Dojo smacks it right into his eyes before cutting his neck. But this big guy catches himself and somehow does a flip despite weighing over 300 pounds. Dojo is suddenly like, "I, Hector Dojo, am the baddest femboy alive." And right on cue, the big guy's face is suddenly cut open and says, "Alright, I know what you want. No one's gonna disturb our alone time," before locking the doors so no one can enter. Bro then randomly begins combing his hair like, "I want you and I like you. We can do this the easy way or the hard way. The choice is yours." But bro instantly embarrasses himself by falling over like an idiot and begins getting his ass beat by this fanboy Dojo. They soon begin throwing hands, but Dojo is disrespecting this guy bad. Like bro is trying to act tough but gets knocked out with one punch. Just as I say this, Dojo is suddenly picked up by his ankles and swung around like there's no tomorrow, and then slammed into the ground and gets maximum brain damage. Some officers come knocking like, "Hey mister, we heard some loud clapping sounds. You alright in there?" In which the big guy is like, "Yeah, it's just me doing my thug shake." Dojo was actually on the ground, dying in concussion maxing. Dojo tries to get up, but the big guy grabs him, but his hands get cut off by Dojo's sneaky razors, in which he tries to take the chance to punch Big Dude in the face and in the stomach. Actually, he didn't even punch bro, he just straight up stabbed him. Dojo then does a special technique called low budget kicks, where the animators become too lazy to animate the rest of the fight, so the big guy is just sent flying by some invisible force. Dojo thinks he has the upper hand, but the big guy gets up and pulls the knife out of his stomach, before some guys walk into the room and the scene looks as if the big guy ate a female officer. Dojo escapes this, and I wouldn't really call what he did menace material as he didn't really beat that big guy, but I'll still count it as one of his victims. Dojo is now underground, smoking his life away. He walks out of the tunnel as the train is coming. He then suddenly sticks onto the train like a fucking gecko and got everyone baffled as they see a man on the fucking side of the train without a care in the world. Now, you guys are about to see why Dojo is a contender for the menace tier list. As a martial artist was practicing his martial arts, he cuts paper in which everyone begins glazing him about it. While this martial artist has tea with whoever this guy is, he suddenly claims that it could be anyone and anything, which is an extremely bold thing to claim. The guy says, "Oh yeah? Well, we got a naked guy upstairs for you to take on," which is actually Doyle, who was in his thong for some reason. Turns out that Doyle was actually putting on a show for this military general. After the lap dance, Doyle sits down and begins yapping. Like bro goes on a 5-minute rant about some nonsense. The military general is like, "You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy." Doyle responds by throwing a mock punch, which sends the dude's hat flying, and as he goes to get it, the martial artist shows up looking mean as hell. He then pushes the military dude over like some disabled elderly person and walks over to Doyle like, "My name is blah blah blah. I heard you were giving the man over there the thug shake." "What you mean?" "I mean, do the thug shake," before kicking the fuck out of Doyle, which sends his ass tumbling, choking, and gagging. Like, what kind of reaction was that to a kick? Doyle finally gets up and smiles like, "You should have killed me when you had a chance," before trying to cut bro, but gets countered and folded like an idiot. Doyle is making me look bad here, but trust me y'all, Doyle's gonna redeem himself. Doyle is now being figured and thrown over and over. The martial artist is like, "I'm gonna keep knocking your ass down, however many times you get up." As the dude is getting way too cocky, Doyle activates his break the laws of physics punch and breaks the dude's jaw. Bro is now looking like Freddy Fazbear and tries to regain his aura after that disrespectful ass attack. After putting his jaw back into place, the martial artist gets into his stance, but Doyle's like, "Come at me, bro." Doyle then walks up to him, defenseless, and has bro overthinking, giving Doyle the chance to fire a rocket into bro's face, killing him. Turns out that Doyle actually has C4 on his fucking body. The military dude is like, "Bruh, you ain't have to do him like that." But Doyle does not give a fuck because bro's ego is at an all-time high. Doyle currently, I would say, has earned himself the crazy tier, but not quite anything above that yet. Which is exactly why these next parts are about to turn this whole tier list upside down. We now cut to the best waifu in Baki, known as Made in China, who is minding his own business until Doyle decided to show up. They all seem to be surprised, but Doyle's like, "I don't really want to fight you here," while looking at the miner from Minecraft to his right. But Made in China doesn't care and says, "Fuck all that nonsense, come at me, bro." Despite this, they both walk out of the elevator looking like they're about to head to class. Doyle tries to start a small talk, but Made in China's like, "I heard about your dirty ass from the other fighters. Don't try to act all innocent." They later go to a bar to have a drink together, in which Doyle's like, "You know, I'm about to take the title of best waifu in anime from you," and tries to blow fire in Made in China's face, but Made in China activates full counter and lights his ass on fire. I feel bad for the poor waiter cause bro was just trying to make some bread and go back to his family, but we got these two goons here ready to brawl it out. Made in China suddenly pulls out a blade from his GTA pocket to make Doyle realize that he tossed it into his eyes so fast that he didn't even register it. As Doyle tries to laugh it off, Made in China reveals that he's actually an alcoholic before spitting on his face. As Doyle was dying from the fire, Made in China saves him by grabbing a fire extinguisher and putting out the fire. He then unravels his cloak, revealing hundreds of fucking blades from London, which are all sent flying into Doyle's body. Like Made in China is now playing darts and turning bro into a porcupine, and even has Doyle looking like a mentally insane patient from Hellraiser. Doyle then begins running away like a bitch, showing us why he's undefeated as always, in which Made in China followed his ass out like the Terminator. Like bro hasn't said a single word in over 10 minutes. Well, he hasn't even made a single sound as well. Doyle was now scared for his life, in which Made in China pulls out that slavery whip and lassos his ankles, making him fall on the knives. But this shit is far from over as Made in China is now about to get revenge for his bros. So he walks over to Doyle, silent as fuck, but Doyle decides to give him AIDS by sneezing his HIV positive blood into Made in China's eyes. But fucking Made in China doesn't even blink or flinch. Bro just says, "Oh, you're fucking dead now, buddy. How dare you disrespect me in this way?" And got Doyle shitting himself as he knows he's about to get cooked. Made in China uses the rope to restrain him before pulling out a big ass fucking berserker blade out of his ass, which makes me think that instead of China, he's actually from London. Bro begins doing tricks and spins with it. Y'all know the knife tricks people usually do? Well, Made in China is doing that with a big ass sword. As Doyle tries to run, Made in China gives him that Monkey D. Luffy tattoo before putting the giant sword back into his ass. Doyle begins running, but Made in China chases him down, but Doyle suddenly pulls out a smoke bomb and it instantly disappears. This made Made in China confused, thinking that Doyle might have went into the sewers. But as he looks in, Doyle appears behind him and jams the knife into his neck. This actually only made Made in China angrier, so he combos Doyle's ass so badly that I thought this was another episode of Dragon Ball Z for a second. Doyle drops to his knees like, "Fuck, you really are worthy of the title of best waifu in anime. Mini-Chana reaches into his pants to pull out nunchucks, which every Asian is required to carry by law. He suddenly turns it into a big-ass pole and goes absolutely ballistic on Doyle. Surprisingly, Mini-Chana helps Doyle out by pulling out all the knives. As Doyle thinks he's about to die, Mini-Chana is like, "I'm better than this," and refuses to hurt Doyle. Doyle tries to take advantage of this and launches a blast at Mini-Chana, just like how he did with the other guy. But Mini-Chana dodges it and launches a kick back into Doyle's face, giving him infinite concussions. As Mini-Chana tries to finish off Doyle, he suddenly gets injected with this big-ass daily dose of steroids and passes out. Doyle's like, "You saved me. Are you the Cape Baldy I've been hearing so much about?" But the big guy's like, "Nah bro, wrong anime," and hands Doyle his book back and says, "I was gonna kill you, but I'm gonna come back for that booty later when you're all better." He then leaves without explanation, in which Doyle also tries to leave, but you guys are about to see why. Doyle turns the tier list upside down. A group of thugs appear and begin to mess with Mini-Chana's body.
You were right, man. Look at his wallet. It says made in China.
Who cares about that? Is there money in it?
Well, let's find out.
Doyle confronts them and says, "Y'all better get the booking and I'll let this slide. But if you touch my boy Mini-Chana, it ain't gonna end too well for y'all." These guys don't take the warning. Instead, they glance at each other and proceed to test Doyle's gangster by pulling out a knife and an electric PP. They approach Doyle like they're really about to do something.
He stabbed me! He freaking stabbed me!
After these idiots got themselves looking dumb, Doyle tries to walk away once again, but a dog appears. This is where we get to see why Doyle completely breaks the menace tier list. Cause instead of being a menace, he walks back and protects Mini-Chana till morning.
So, what am I supposed to think about this turn of events? This impossible occurrence? This death row inmate? This human reject? This nobody?
Bro, Mini-Chana, you didn't need to flame like that. He just saved you. Doyle actually protected Mini-Chana throughout the night, so it's time for something called the power of friendship. Mini-Chana is like, "Damn bro, I didn't know you was a real G," before picking up Doyle and sprinting like the Flash across the entire planet. Bro then pulls out a rope and jumps onto the bridge like Spider-Man. As he's running across the highway, a motorbike comes flying, but Mini-Chana stops it by using the ass exploder technique, and then like the good waifu he is, apologizes for exploding the bike's ass and runs off. He then comes across a big ass river where these boys are peacefully fishing. I thought he was gonna jump across it like the Baki character he is, but instead he starts fucking running on it, which is even crazier. I swear it would have been easier if he just jumped across it. Doyle wakes up in bandages like he just fought a bear. Suddenly, Mini-Chana comes in to reveal that the entire dojo actually gave up their blood to save Doyle. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this shit gets so sweet that it's hard to watch. But Mini-Chana cooks Doyle a meal and they end up in bed together. Later, Doyle would watch some karate training in which he approaches them and thanks them before saying that he was gonna put them all 6 feet under. The instructor thinks that Doyle is challenging him to a fight, so he gets ready, but Doyle says, "Let me get my thong on first." Pulls out a bag and suddenly puts on a hazmat suit before throwing dust everywhere and blowing up the entire place. Doyle walks off like a Joker and tries to disappear into the night, but actually encounters an old man instead, who ends up beating his ass and sending him straight back to the karate dojo. Doyle wakes up to the guy who he's just bombed, eating rice cakes in front of him. The dude is now bald with burn marks all over his body. Doyle tries to attack him but gets disabled, and the next day the same thing happens, but this time he gets his face smashed in over and over and over again until the karate guy feels so bad for him that he just straight up admitted defeat and left. The next day though, as the karate guy was coming outside, he finds that Doyle is on his knees for him. This time, it was for friendship, in which they later practiced karate as Doyle was leaving, but as Doyle was about to leave, he encountered an old man who was rambling on about some nonsense. So Doyle knew he was either a crackhead or someone who was after his head. So he tries to throw glasses into the old man's eyes, but he doesn't even blink. Instead, he hits Doyle right in the eyeballs, blinding him. Doyle then gets choked up by the old man using the black belt which his friend gave him, in which he tries to fight back but is sent flying off the boat and left hanging on the edge. As Doyle tries to climb up, the old man prepares to cut Doyle down, but Doyle blocks the attack using his fucking arm, in which bro is like, "That's impossible," but doesn't realize that Doyle actually has steel in his arms. As he tries to finish off Doyle, Doyle jumps off the boat and falls into the sea. Doyle is now permanently blind and hides in a cave, in which one of his victims, who is the big ass guy, appears, causing Doyle to punch him in the face, but dude just grabs him and begins molesting him. From what I saw, Doyle gets set back below even normal. I'm gonna put him in the angel tier because bro is actually nice as hell compared to the other characters. Like, he kinda redeemed himself in the end, but nonetheless, you guys want to give someone a crazy strong handshake or just want to support the channel, make sure you check out the 100 kg gripper in the description. Also, remember, 100 kg is like 225 pounds, like. So imagine doing that on one hand. And today is day 2 of trying this. Trying to get 100 kg. Ah. Oh. Oh, hell no. No.